his friend.
Yes, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again. Of course, you heard a lot from Professor. Professor has spoken many things and in painful ways. So, Professor has asked, how is it possible that Africans we cannot feed ourselves because of conflict in Ukraine? So, it is paining. You cannot come out and say we cannot feed ourselves, we cannot grow food because there's wars of conflict between Russia and Ukraine. So, as the people of Africa, for how long we continue to depend on others? And recently, have seen Ukraine itself supplying food to Malawi. So, just imagine a country that is at war can supply food to a country that is not at war. So, how is it possible? So, kings and queens, I think this must come to an end for Africa to become beggars for everything. So, Professor said very well that the continent is crying. People are crying in the continent. Also, Professor has spoken about the issue of exploitation of African resources. So, it is true that our resources are being exploited, and those who are exploiting our resources, taking resources, they don't face any kind of consequences. And that's why I'm saying we need to Traoreize this continent because we have seen Captain Ibrahim Traore said enough is enough. No more exploitation of our natural resources, especially gold in Burkina Faso. So other African countries must follow the same steps as Burkina Faso did, and also Mali and Niger. So, brothers and sisters, kings and queens, have been calling for Africa Diaspora Summit. I think at that summit, this will be one of the agenda. So, the agenda on how we are going to stop those who are exploiting our resources. As the people of Africa, we need to make sure that we take controls of our resources. Many of our resources are being controlled by others, and that's why you see that sometimes we dig our resources. When we want to sell it, there's someone who are in abroad and try to dictate us the price we are going to sell our resources. So how is it possible that I have my own God, then when I want to sell someone plan or dictating me the price of my own God? So I think the time has come to say enough is enough, and this can be possible if Africans or all Africans we can come together and say enough is enough. Of course, I've seen many Africans saying Captain Ibrahim Traore is doing very well, yes, but he himself he cannot achieve it. He needs support from other African leaders and also from African people in the continent and to those who are in the diaspora, because we know we have history of some African leaders who tried to disrupt Western agendas. Some of them have been assassinated. For instance, you remember a man such as Patrice Emery Lumumba of Congo. He was assassinated. Muhammad Ali Gaddafi recently in the year 2013, I think. Also, you remember about Thomas Isidore Sankara of Burkina Faso. So I think this is a wake-up call for all of us, the people of Africa, to see how we can come together and solve our challenges. Also, have been addressing the issue of Africa Diaspora Summit. This is an important summit that we need at the people of Africa. If the Europeans came together in Berlin and divide our continent and making sure that the continent will continue to supply raw materials till today and cheap labor. So what's wrong for us, the people of Africa, with our brothers and sisters, kings and queens in the diaspora, to come together and say we are tired with these issues of seeing our continent being benefiting other continents. So I think from there we can come with solutions. And of course, I've seen President Ramaphosa of South Africa said that he's going to invite South African diaspora to the G20 summit in South Africa, but have been suggested that it is not enough. We need not only South African diaspora, we need African diaspora to be part of delegations in the G20 summit in the coming G20 summit in South Africa. But not only about G20, we need our own summit, Africa Diaspora Summit, where Africans and our diasporas will come together and say we are going to undo the Berlin Conference effects, and we are going to plan for our future. So you see the Chinese are doing well because they have planned their future. The same to Americans, the same to Europeans, but when it comes to Africans, it looks like it is difficult for us to come together. And I don't know what happened to us. We don't see each other as brothers and sisters. We don't believe in ourselves. So I think the time has come for Africans to show the world that we can do something different. And our headers, our leaders, they have duty to unite all of us, the people of Africa, to make sure that we can share our thoughts. You know, I'm sure we have many good people in the continent, and to those who are in the diaspora. When they can come together, I'm sure they can come up with one of the greatest things. So if it is about development, they can provide some solutions, views. If it's about infrastructure, they can come up with some solutions. If it's about energy, I'm sure we cannot miss everything. So, kings and queens, those are just my opinions from what you heard from Professor, and I'm waiting to hear also from you. What is your perspective, your opinions, and what do you think for Africa to move forward? But all in all, the continent is crying. People are asking difficult questions. How is it possible that we Africans, with all these resources, we are still called poor continent? So I think the time has come to change these narratives and to make sure that we can change things, and also we can develop our own continent. So kings and queens, let us not speak for too long. Let us say thank you for watching. So see you next time. Bye.